AITA for letting my little brother ruin my engagement dinner? Okay, so I'm 28, female, recently engaged. My fiance, let's call him Ben, and I had this little engagement dinner at this cozy Italian place in Chicago. It wasn't a big party, just our families. His parents, his sister, my parents, and my older brother Marcus. Small, chill, fancy enough to feel like a celebration, but nothing too over the top. Except surprise, my little brother Nick showed up. Nick's 19th. He wasn't invited. Not because I hate him or anything, but because he's been kind of a disaster lately. Like, dropped out of college 2 semesters ago, without telling anyone. We found out when my mom opened a bill from the university, started doing this whole I'm just vibing with life thing, works 2 days a week at GameStop, sleeps until 2 p.m., and thinks wearing an unbuttoned flannel with no shirt is a personality. But whatever, right? Family is family. I didn't want drama, but I also didn't want him there. And look, my mom knew I didn't want him there. I was very clear. She was like, just invite him, he's your brother. And I told her, no, this dinner is for people who've actually been part of the relationship, who know us, not someone who's shown up twice in the last year, one of which was to ask for rent money. Well, apparently she took that as, I'm still inviting him and I'm just not going to tell you. So yeah, 10 minutes into the dinner, in walks Nick, I wish I was exaggerating, gray sweatpants, a t-shirt that said 404 error, motivation not found, and his stupid vape in hand. No, hey, congrats, no thanks for having me. Just plops down next to my dad and says, so who's paying for this? Not it, I nearly choked on my water. Ben gave me this look like, do we say something? But he's way too nice and I didn't want to make a scene. I just texted my mom, what the hell, under the table, and she replied, don't overreact. He's trying what? Trying to win a medal in emotional sabotage? Anyway, the dinner moves along awkwardly. Ben's mom is making small talk about wedding venues, my dad's on his 3rd glass of wine, and Nick, God bless him, is leaning back in his chair like it's a gaming live stream. Then the waiter brings out a bottle of champagne. It's a surprise gift from Ben's sister, who's honestly an angel. Super thoughtful. She says, to the happy couple, and raises a toast. Everyone clinks glasses, except Nick. He lifts his water glass and says, swear to God, to the inevitable divorce. Dead. Silence. I laughed, but not because it was funny. It was that awkward, shocked, what the fuck did you just say kind of laugh. My dad mutters, Jesus, Nick, and my mom giggles like, oh, he's just being silly. Ben looks like he wants to crawl into his risotto and never come out. I'm just sitting there like, do I say something? Do I flip the table? Do I cry all 3? But I didn't. I did that thing where you pretend nothing happened because your family has this weird allergy to confrontation. We finished dinner. I paid. Yep, I paid. Because Nick didn't bring a damn cent. Outside, I finally lost it. I pulled my mom aside and said, what the actual hell was that? And she said, you always blow things out of proportion. You act like you're better than him just because you're more put together. Okay, that hit. Because no, I don't think I'm better. I just think I'm allowed to set boundaries. I'm allowed to have one night where I don't have to babysit a grown-ass man who thinks sarcasm is a personality. Then Nick walks up, no apology, just, yo, can I get a ride home or nah? I stared at him, then at my mom. Then I said, no. Take an Uber, or float home on your sea of mediocrity. He flipped me off and walked away. My mom called me cruel. So now I'm sitting here wondering, AATA for not wanting him there in the first place? For making a scene? For being done with the whole Nick gets a pass because he's struggling thing? I don't even know anymore. But damn, I needed to get that off my chest. So the next morning, I wake up to a 6-paragraph text from my mom. It starts with, I hope you're happy with yourself, and ends with family means supporting each other even when it's hard. In between, guilt-trippy crap like Nick's going through a lot and you've always been so cold when it comes to him. And my personal favorite, he cried when he got home. He cried? The dude who toasted to our divorce like he was on a Comedy Central roast? Oh, and she added, maybe you should apologize. Yeah, me. Meanwhile, I'm on the couch with Ben, still emotionally hungover, eating cold pizza, and I read him the whole text. He just looks at me and goes, did I miss the part where he got married to you instead of me? Because honestly, that's what it feels like. Like I'm supposed to cater to Nick's every meltdown and ego bruise, and Ben's just collateral damage. Anyway, I don't text her back. I needed a break. But guess who does text me? Nick. And this is where it gets even worse because apparently he thinks I ruined his night. He goes, real cool how you embarrassed me in front of everyone. You've always made me feel like I don't belong. Guess I should have known you'd act like a stuck-up beach at your own dinner. At that point, I was pacing the apartment. Ben's trying to be supportive like, hey, let's just block him for a while. But I needed to say something, so I reply, probably too long, probably too petty. You weren't invited. You showed up dressed like a couch potato, insulted our relationship, didn't even congratulate us, and didn't pay for anything. I didn't embarrass you. You embarrassed yourself. He leaves me on red. Until later that night when Marcus, my older brother, calls me, all whispery and weird, like he doesn't want his wife to hear. He says, "Hey, Mom's really upset. Maybe just smooth things over? You know how Nick is? It's not worth the drama." Okay, that's when I snapped. I go, "Wait, so I'm the one who needs to smooth things over when I did absolutely nothing wrong except not want a full-grown man-child to wreck my engagement dinner?" Marcus sighs and goes, "You're right, but it's just easier to let it go sometimes." And that's the phrase that broke me. It's easier. That's our whole family motto when it comes to Nick. He's impulsive, lazy, rude. Let it go, it's easier. He ruins a family event? Don't make it a thing, it's easier. You know what's not easier? Being the sibling who always has to play the adult, who never gets to be the one with issues, who gets told she's cold for having boundaries. And the kicker? Marcus agrees with me. He said, honestly, if it were up to me, he wouldn't have been there either, but still followed it with, just keep the peace. So now I'm sitting here 2 days after what should have been a special moment in my life, and all I can think about is, did I overreact? Why am I the only one expected to cater down to dysfunction? And what the hell does keep the peace even mean when the peace only exists if one person eats shit every time? Ben, to his credit, has been amazing. He offered to redo the dinner just with friends, said we could even leave my parents off the wedding guest list if it comes to that. But I don't know, I'm stuck between guilt and fury, because yeah, maybe Nick's struggling, but I've also struggled. I just did it quietly without turning every family moment into a one-man performance art piece. And my mom? Still posting on Facebook like nothing happened. Posted a photo from the dinner. Guess who she cropped out? Ben's sister, the one who brought the champagne. Can't make this up. Alright, so 2 weeks go by. Radio silence from Nick. My mom texted me once, some vague, hope you're okay, love you always type of thing, but I didn't respond. Not out of spite, just tired. I was emotionally maxed out. Ben and I focused on wedding stuff, caterer tasting, guest list trimming, cake flavors. You know, normal engaged couple things. But in the back of my head, I kept waiting for the next shoe to drop. Because with Nick, there's always another shoe, usually thrown at someone's head. Anyway, fast forward to my bridal shower. It's at my friend Allie's house in the suburbs. Allie's a no-bullshit type A event planner who should honestly charge people for being as organized as she is. Everything was perfect. Mimosa bar, cute little charcuterie boards, those mini cupcakes that look like roses. Pinterest exploded all over her backyard. It was supposed to be a chill, girls-only thing. My mom RSVP'd yes. Nick wasn't even a blip on the radar, because it's a freaking bridal shower, not a co-ed kegger, not a family BBQ. So picture this. I'm mid-sentence telling a story about how Ben proposed, again because every guest asked, when Allie walks over to me, whisper sprinting, "Hey, so there's a guy at the door with a girl and he says he's your brother?" My blood froze. I walked to the side gate, and there's Nick, wearing sunglasses like he's famous, holding hands with a girl who looked like she wandered out of a Forever 21 clearance bin in 2012. Fishnets, a neon green mesh top over a black bra, platform sandals, a fanny pack. Not ironic. I go, "Nick, what the hell are you doing here?" He's grinning. "Surprise. I figured I'd come support my big sister. Plus, wanted you to meet Karma, yes. Karma." He gestures like she's a prize on The Price is Right. Karma waves and goes, "Hey, I'm like so honored to be here for your transformation journey." Allie, behind me, whispers, "Do I call the cops or just break the sprinkler system?" I go, "Nick, this is an open invite. This is a bridal shower. You can't just..." He cuts me off. "Wow, okay, nice to see you too. Guess some people still think they're better than their family." Cue the classic Nick move, victim mode. He turns to Karma and goes, "See? This is what I mean. They never accept me. Like, I try to show love and it's always a problem." Karma hugs him full PDA mode and murmurs something about energy vampires. I swear I saw one of my aunts gag. I glance over at my mom, who's standing on the deck frozen like a Sims character that lost its programming, and she doesn't say a thing, just sips her wine, won't even make eye contact. So now I have to be the bad guy. I say, "Nick, I'm not doing this again. You weren't invited. This is not your moment. Please go." He gets loud. "Oh wow, so I'm banned from family events now? Got it. I guess you can't handle being around people who actually live in the real world." At this point, Allie steps up and goes, "Look, you need to leave. Now. You weren't invited and you're making everyone uncomfortable." Karma, bless her heart, starts tearing up and says, "I can't believe this." I wore my good crystals Nick flips. You people are disgusting. This is why I don't come around. Y'all are fake as hell, but whatever. We're out. Karma doesn't need this kind of toxic SAT. They leave, but not before Karma grabs 3 mini cupcakes off the table and mutters, might as well get something out of this. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was my bridal shower. Ben was furious when I told him. He offered to talk to my mom, but I said no, because I wanted to see if she would reach out. She didn't. Not until 5 days later when she sent me a Facebook message. A freaking Facebook message. It said, Nick was just trying to be supportive. Karma is very important to him. I wish you'd been more welcoming. No apology, no ownership, just more enabling. So I replied, I'm done, Mom. I love you, but if you can't respect my boundaries, then don't come to the wedding. I'm serious. She left me on scene, and that's where we're at. Weddings in 6 weeks, guest list is locked, deposit is paid. And now I'm thinking about walking down the aisle without a single member of my family there, just because I refuse to let my little brother turn every important moment in my life into his own personal reality show. I don't know if I'm the villain here. I don't know if I'm overreacting. But I do know this. If anyone else brought an uninvited girlfriend named Karma to your bridal shower and then yelled at you on the lawn, you'd probably draw the line too. Alright, so, wedding day. We're 6 weeks out from the bridal shower debacle and I haven't spoken to my mom since. Nick, blocked. Karma, hopefully off somewhere rearranging her chakras. Ben and I made it very clear. Anyone who shows up that wasn't invited is getting escorted out. Period. Guest list was confirmed. Security was briefed. Yes, security. More on that in a second. And I sent a final message to my mom the week before. You are welcome to come to the wedding alone. If you bring Nick or Karma, you will not be let in. She didn't respond, just liked a photo of my wedding dress on Instagram and commented, beautiful heart emoji. Cool. Passive aggression in public? Classic move. Anyway, let me set the scene. We're at this cute outdoor venue in Lake Geneva. Big trees, twinkle lights, that rustic bougie vibe that makes it look like Joanna Gaines and Pinterest had a love child. The ceremony is about to start. I'm in the bridal suite, sipping champagne, trying not to pass out. Allie's with me, MVP forever, double-checking everything. Ben is with his groomsmen, including Marcus. Yes, he came solo and gave me a big hug when he got there. So far, so good. Until my cousin Rachel runs into the bridal suite out of breath and goes, your mom's here, and she brought them. I blink. Them? You know who? They're at the entrance. Security already stopped them. My brain just shuts down for a second. I legit thought maybe she meant her weird ex-husband or some random cousins. But no, she meant Nick and Karma. Again. Except this time they came dressed for war. Nick was in a white tux. White. Like he thought he was getting married. Karma was in some kind of gauzy floor-length gown that looked like a witch's prom dress. Black velvet, silver moon patterns, dramatic sleeves, and a literal crystal headband. Not a fascinator, not a cute accessory, a headband of actual crystals like she was summoning the ghost of Stevie Nicks. And get this, they brought a gift, a giant hand-painted canvas that said, marriage is a lie. Love is a vibration. I could not. Security was holding them back at the gate, saying they weren't on the list. And my mom, standing there like she was just so surprised this was happening. When the head of security asked if she knew them, she says, they're family. She'll want them here. Just wait until she sees the painting. It's a statement piece. I could hear this happening through the bridal suite window. Allie literally put her whole body in front of me and went, you do not need to see this. I got it, God bless her. I called Ben, told him what was happening. He didn't even hesitate. If they don't leave in 5 minutes, we cancel the ceremony and do it privately at the hotel. And that was the exact moment I realized I was marrying the right person. But before we had to nuke the whole event, Marcus steps in. Marcus, usually Switzerland in human form, walks up to the gate, pulls my mom aside, and I guess he must have said something serious because she finally told Nick and Karma to leave. I didn't hear what was said, but Karma yelled, this is a vibrational betrayal, and Nick screamed, this is why our family's broken. Then they were gone. I didn't see my mom again until after the ceremony. She came up, red-eyed, said, I didn't know they were going to dress like that, and asked if I'd let it go. I said no. No hug, no fake smile, just no. She left before the reception started. The wedding itself? Gorgeous. Ben and I danced until midnight, ate too much cake, cried happy tears, and made memories I'll never forget. But part of me still thinks about how close I came to losing that day. All because my mom couldn't set a boundary with her adult man-child of a son. And yeah, it's sad. I wish Nick was different. I wish Karma was just a bad phase. I wish my mom would stop treating me like the villain for not tolerating chaos. But mostly, I wish someone had stood up for me sooner, because I'm done being the one who always keeps the peace. Sometimes the only way to have peace is to let go of people who thrive in dysfunction. So we go on our honeymoon, 10 days in Greece, Santorini, clear water, white rooftops, sunsets that look fake, the whole fairy tale. For the first time in months, I finally exhaled. I didn't check social media, didn't answer texts, just Ben and I being annoyingly in love, drinking wine, eating feta, and pretending we weren't returning to real life anytime soon. Then we land at O'Hare, jet-lagged, sunburned. I turn on my phone and it explodes. 30 missed notifications, 3 voicemails, 7 DMs from people I barely talk to, 1 from our old neighbor Mrs. Patterson who's 84 and still types like she's using a typewriter, all asking some version of, "Is what Nick posted true? Wow, didn't expect that from you. I always thought you were different." I open Instagram. Nick's profile, which used to be anime memes and vape clouds, is now a spiritual healing account. His new handle? @CosmicTruthSurvivor. And front and center on his feed, there's this 10-slide Canva monstrosity titled, "How I Got Disowned for Speaking My Truth and What It Taught Me About Family Narcissism." With a sepia-toned photo of our wedding venue in the background, it's a full-blown manifesto. Slide 1. This is hard to share, but I won't stay silent anymore. Slide 2. My sister, who shall remain unnamed because I believe in peace, married into a toxic, elitist circle that doesn't value authenticity. Slide 3. I was banned from the wedding because I brought someone who supports my healing. Slide 4. Karma is a licensed herbal intuitive. She doesn't deserve to be mocked for dressing in alignment with her higher self. Slide 5. They called security on me. At my own sister's wedding, let that sink in. Slide 6 to 8. Random quotes from fake therapists, Rumi, and something that might have been an iPhone autocorrect of Brené Brown. Slide 9. A blurry photo of the painting they tried to bring, captioned, "Art is activism. Love is rebellion." Slide 10. If you've ever been shamed by family for being different, I see you. You're not alone. Number black sheep energy, number reparenting, number sacred rage, number truth heals. I almost threw my phone in the airport trash, and the worst part? People were eating it up. Dozens of comments like, "So proud of you for speaking your truth." "Cutting off toxic family is self-love." "Your sister sounds like a control freak. Stay free, king." I bet her wedding was basic anyway. Basic. Because I didn't let the guy in the white tuxedo and his magical girlfriend crash it. Ben just laughed and said, he should have hired a publicist. But me? I cried in the Uber. Because it wasn't just strangers. Mutuals. Old friends. People from high school. People who'd ghosted me for years were now suddenly sliding into my DMs like, "Hey, I saw Nick's post. Is everything okay?" And here's the kicker. My mom liked the post. Didn't comment. Didn't share. But she liked it. I stared at her little profile picture under that heart button for an hour. That tiny smiling woman in her gardening hat. The same woman who used to braid my hair for picture day. Who bought me my first car. Who stood there silently while her son crashed my wedding. And now quietly co-signed the idea that I was some kind of emotional tyrant. I unfollowed her. Then I texted her. "I hope you and Nick find whatever peace you need. But I'm done being the villain in stories you let him write. I'm your daughter, not his scapegoat. Please don't contact me for a while." She didn't respond. It's been 4 months. I haven't seen or spoken to her or Nick or Karma. Ben and I are good. Better than ever, honestly. My friends, the real ones, rallied around me. Allie made a whole Instagram story clowning on the painting. "Art is activism." Bro, it looked like a high school group project. And the funny thing, I don't even regret any of it. I used to think drawing lines with family was betrayal. Now I think not drawing lines is what kills families. Slowly, bitterly, and with resentment that never gets named. I didn't lose my family. They lost me when they chose dysfunction over dignity. So yeah, maybe I am the villain in Nick's story, but at least I'm not living a lie. Thanks for watching. If you liked the story, hit subscribe. See you in the next one.